Hey, everybody, and welcome to the HERstory Collaborative. My name is Jen Buck, and I'm your host here in the collab. Now, I'm all about advocating, activating, and amplifying high-performing women, and that's what the HERstory Collaborative is all about. Trailblazing women who are changing their little corner of the world. My next guest is Shannon Paterson. Shannon is the founder of two businesses focused on empowering women. My kind of girl. Live Your Truth Women Coaching, elevating women's self-confidence by developing self-awareness and self-acceptance is one of her businesses. She's also the founder of Achieve Mulitsport Coaching and Personal Training, and she helps clients achieve health and fitness goals. Now, Shannon says the only way to truly feel your best is to strengthen both your mind and your body, and I could not agree more. And when you end up doing that, she says that your potential is limitless. Other fun fact, Shannon is a 3-time Ironman World Champion athlete, which is insane. And we definitely need to talk about that. She's done 43 marathons. Unbelievable. She just remarried at age 48 and has 2 fur babies that are Yorkies and proudly identifies as a Confidence Crusader, Sisterhood Creator, Life Learner, and Love Radiator. I adore you. I am so excited to have you. Welcome to the collab, Shannon.
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. I am so honored to be a part of these podcasts. I listen to this all the time of all these women that I listen. I get so inspired, and I'm so happy that people like you are putting these women out there for the universe to go, yeah, I could do that too. Or I want to link arms with that woman and I want to help. Yeah. That's so important. What the work that you're doing is truly just so beautiful. Thank you.
You're so awesome. Thank you for that. I will tell you that I love badass women. Like I love women who have like stepped into their strength and they know their lane. And I know that that's who you are every day. You and I feel like you and I are crossing over on several different social platforms right now. Like we've had all this time, of course, on Instagram, and I've spent time with you in the clubhouse rooms, and it's usually just either in the image written form or in the, audio only form. So it's so fun for me to have you in here and be doing this with you because we haven't had that chance to be face to face. So I appreciate you being here so much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So can we first start with your superhuman abilities with your athletics, because I am so amazed that you've done 43 marathons, that you are an Ironman. Please, let's talk about that, because again, mind-body connection, what we know, that all has to be, really well, let's say taken care of, and your body and mind have to really be focused on for you to be able to achieve these kinds of feats. So please tell me where this all started.
Oh, I'd love to. So what I always start with telling people about the credentials is that I am not superhuman in any way, shape, or form. I was an average kid. I, didn't get picked first for the soccer team or any of those things. I didn't know how to swim, nor bike, nor run, which is the 3 events for a triathlon. Wow. I kind of like played around in the stuff. I rode my Huffy around the, the parking lot, but I didn't know how to do any of these things. And for me, I grew up saying, quite honestly, labeling myself as like, well, I'm not an athlete. And I think that's what so many women do, is we put these labels on ourselves from childhood of what we are not. I'm not an athlete. I'm not that smart. I'm not capable of making that much money, or whatever those nots are over and over again. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I always knew I wanted to be in the health and fitness industry. I went to school for that at Penn State, got my degree in kinesiology.
You're a Penn State person. That's impressive.
Yes, I bleed blue and white.
That's impressive. Yep.
So, graduating from there and going into corporate fitness is where I started. And we did these things like these little corporate 5K challenges where you'd go into Manhattan and you'd run around, and I was dying. I couldn't run 3.1 miles. I had to train to be able to do that. Right. Yeah. So it was this progression of starting to really hang out with other people who were doing these races, who were doing these things, and then getting invited to like, well, do you want to do this corporate triathlon thing we're going to do? And it's this small buildup of what I talk about a lot with my clients is you don't have to be born being able to do all of these things. You have to build the competence over time, which then builds your confidence. You don't necessarily have to have that to do it. Right. So I went from, going, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to do this. Holy crap, I'm going to do this thing, this Ironman, which is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and a marathon, 26.2 miles of the run. And it sounds insane. I know. Because I was like, hell no, I'm not ever doing that. What are you, crazy? I can't do that, right? I'm already saying I can't.
Yeah.
And I just decided that, well, why can't I? I'm seeing these other people who are not superhuman. They're people that I work with or people that I'm friends with. Yeah. And I have this built-in training partners and built-in community. So I started to just do these things and finish and complete them. Yeah. And that was the big thing, is completing the race and feeling so proud of myself. And that's the first step with anything, right? Is that like the daily wins leading to like, okay, you cross the finish line. And that's so important for people to recognize all of that along the way. Yeah. And then for me, what I talk a lot about is I had a big mental shift one day when I was like, well, I can't qualify for the World Championships. I'm just this like chick from Podunkville, Pullman, Washington. And instead I was like, well, why can't I? All I can do is try. I'm never going to do it if I don't try. Mm-hmm. Right. So I was like, all right, I'm going to commit. I'm going to tell people that I'm going for this goal. I'm not going to keep it inside. This is something that's really important to me, is activating your voice, amplifying your voice, as you like to say. Yep. I think it's so important for women to put out there into the universe. I'm going to do this. Yeah. Hold yourself accountable, helping, and other people will too. And I really my first attempt at trying to qualify for Kona, I was doing a half Ironman, because you could do that back then. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I was doing well. I'd done so much training. I worked really hard, and I was literally 100 yards from the finish line. Okay. And in the sport of triathlon, they put your age on the back of your calf. So you know who's in your age group and who's not. Yes. And I could see this girl right in front of me who was in my age group. And I didn't know where I fell in the line, because like the top 1 or 2 girls get to go to Kona. Yeah. And my friend is standing there on the sideline and screaming at me, every second counts. Push. And so I got this just enormous surge of energy from that. Like, this is my now or never. This is it. This is my chance to believe in myself, to believe that I have that little bit more to give, to dig into. Wow. And I passed her at the finish line, and I qualified for Kona that way. And that's kind of how it starts for so many people, whatever your goal is that like the willingness to set aside your labels, to stop saying what you can't do, and to start saying, I'm just going to try. I'm just going to see what happens. Yeah. Your mindset's incredible. And I always am interested when I meet women who are on the outside just really, really put together and perfect, and seem to have all the gifts and the things, and everything is perfect for them. Right. And I always know that, of course, no one's perfect. And of course, none of us come from this perfect package and background and all of that. What was it for you in your life that made you this resilient, this optimistic, this determined? Because this, we all hit hurdles, right? Or we all come from stuff, like we've all got our thing, but you really are extraordinary. Your thought process, your determination is really extraordinary. Have you always been this way? Was there a moment where there was a shift? Like what's the story on that? I think I have had tendencies towards this my whole life, in that I don't know exactly where the confidence came from to do things. So I was always very confident in like, I'm going to be in the dance recital. I'm going to dance solo and these dance recitals, or I'm going to move 3,000 miles across country where I know 0 people and go to a big, huge university. Yeah. Like, all of that was scary. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was, but I was like, I'm going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. Because I think if I didn't know this then, but when I analyze it now at almost 50 years old, I say, I was searching for confidence that I didn't have in other areas of my life. Mm-hmm. So I was pretty insecure about the way that I looked. I was insecure about my intelligence. I was insecure about my family life. My parents were divorced when I was super young, super insecure with boys and that kind of thing. And so I I did these things as a way of making myself feel stronger. And I did. It so worked. Like for sure it worked. But I did have, those midlife years and getting into relationships that were toxic. And then I had to use the mental strength that I built up from doing hard things. Had to use that, but I also had to go into a place I had never explored before, which was my deep why. Like, why was I ending up in these relationships that were not healthy? I mean, the reverse of what I was doing for my body. I was making my body like bulletproof, and yet I was just taking all sorts of shots to my heart and to my psyche by doing that. So I had to really dig and explore into that. And I think I was able to, because I had done that with the body part, but it was not a big aha moment. It was a shift over, I'm going to say 10, 15 years probably of doing that. Yeah.
And I can tell you, I guarantee you there are people tuning in right now that are like, yep, that's me. That's me. On some level, that's me. And so what do you think causes so many women to believe the programming or settle with, the hits that life brings? And then I want you to also add in, how do you help women get past that? Because this is the crux of your entire business, right? Is helping women break through that. So where do you think it comes from? And two, how do you help us get through it?
Well, I think the two big things I think it comes from, first of all, society. I mean, this is the narrative that we see from time and again over history. How many women do we really have to look up to in the history? I mean, if maybe starting in our generation, there started to be a little bit, but before that, there were no women in our history books.
Right.
There's no one to set that stage for you and go, yeah, you know what? You could do an Ironman, or you could do these other things. You could own a company.
Yeah.
Like, what woman did you know that owned a company when we were young?
Yeah, Zippo, right.
I don't know anybody. So I think there's that part of it, which is shifting because we're seeing more women in these powerful positions. And then there's that narrative that we tell ourselves, because I feel like women we are our own worst critics in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
Me included when I say that. And we concentrate on the negative. And not only do we do that, but women talk about it all the time. They self-deprecate out loud all the time. It becomes so habitual. And I think that the power of the human voice, that seeps deeper into your soul than just the ping-ponging around in your brain of what your thoughts are. But then when you actually tell someone over and over, well, I'm so fat, I'm so weak, I'm incapable of doing that, no one will ever love me. All of these things that we say over and over, we have to really, what I talk about with my business and how to like shift that mindset is you have to start with self-awareness. Like, are you even realizing the words that are coming out of your mouth? Totally. And then like, once you realize and go, oh yeah, that was really mean. Why did I just say that to myself? I wouldn't say that to like anyone else ever.
That's right.
So that self-awareness piece is what I really talk about with women so much. And then the self-acceptance, like women think we have to be perfect at everything. Like we have to be the perfect, mom, the perfect wife, the perfect coworker, the perfect everything, the perfect body. And so if we can find more compassion for ourselves, which we're so good at giving for other people.
Positively.
Right? I mean, we do that all the time for other women, and yet we don't do it for ourselves. So if we can get the awareness, build the self-acceptance over time. And then the next piece that I coach after that is the intentional action. So what are you actually going to do to change the thought patterns, to change the narrative? And that's why I like the healthy body perspective, because it's a tangible thing. If I can't do any push-ups today, and I work with my trainer, my coach, and I can do 10 push-ups next month, that's a check. I see that and I can be proud of that. Sometimes it's harder to see that from your mental and emotional growth. We don't have such an easy checkbox. So when you do that, the physical part of it, I feel like that's really empowering. And I will tell you, 10,000% over and over what I've seen working with men and women for the past 25 years on building your fitness and building your health, that women are the ones who come back to me with this beautiful ripple effect, because they start coming with all the negative self-talk and the self-limiting beliefs and telling me what they can't do. Mm-hmm. And then a month later, they're like, hey, and you know what else I did? I told my boss that I think I deserve a promotion. Or I stood up for myself when my mom was being really mean to me. She was saying, there's this beautiful ripple effect from gaining that physical confidence that goes into the mental. And that's why I think it's so essential for us to address both.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that so much. I'm telling you, I think that women, when they can finally step into their power, much like you're seeing with the ripple effect, I think when women actually understand the influence and power and impact that they have, I think it's going to be game over. Oh, I mean, we both 100%. See it individually with the women that we work with all the time. Me getting to amplify women, just doing this, like if I could do this for the rest of my life and just engage with women who rock my soul every day, like I would die a happy woman. That's all I did, is just this right here, and hear about, the power and gosh, the confidence of women. I get so excited about it, but I truly believe as a whole, when the matriarchy rises, it's going to be because women recognize their power. And when it rises, it's going to seriously change every single thing. There won't be war. There won't be famine. There won't be inequality. There won't be inequity. There won't be these things that we see. It won't be a global pandemic of famine. It won't be a global pandemic of, power and destruction like we're seeing right now in the world on so many levels. Because when the matriarchy rises, that's when healing begins. And that is my wisdom that comes from epigenetically, the women that came before me. You know what I mean? Like I know this in my bones so deeply. And I love that you see it in that immediate bounce back when women start to step into that space.
Well, I could not agree with you more, Jen, because I know for a fact when women get unblocked, we are more powerful than any man can ever be, because we have this sense of community, that we want to work with other people, that we want to be vulnerable and use what a lot of women call like this feminine energy. Yeah. We have that we can tap into, and we can do anything and do it better. Quite honestly. I mean, if you look, like, going back to a fitness analogy, if you look at the women who are doing ultra marathons, I'm talking like running for like 250 miles at a time. You know who's winning that race? A woman. Straight up a woman, not like first place woman in her category. Like, she is winning the race. Oh. And that's what we need to put that out there into the world more. Like, how many people know that? Yes. That honestly, some of the top races in the world that are these endurance things are women, because we are so, I almost swore, so effing tough.
Yeah. Say it.
Like, we don't quit. We're born and to be these endurance athletes. And when I say that, I mean that from an endurance in your spirit, in your mindset, all of that. We have that. We just have to unblock ourselves. And how do we do that? We surround ourselves with other women who are like on board and want to do that for each other.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I love all of this so much. And I feel like so many women that are, for instance, tuning in right now, they know it, but they have a lot of, let's just say, to go back to the sports analogy, they've got a lot of obstacles in their way. Like, they're not sure if they're going to clear that hurdle and be able to get there. Like, I know that I can run the race, but that hurdle looks really scary. And to those women, what would you say?
I would say it is scary. And that's where the glory lies, because if you just do what's not scary all the time, how fulfilling is that? You just stay stuck. But scary means that you're going to have impactful change. And don't worry about the hurdle that's 100 feet down the lane from you. Just put one foot in front of the other. And by the time you get to that hurdle, you're going to have built up competence and confidence that when you get there, you're going to be like, what hurdle? I'm going to like side straddle hop over that baby and just keep going. So I think that I I love doing scary stuff. And I love when I see other women like taking that on. And I understand that that's maybe not something that everybody feels right away, but just know that you can't, like, believe in yourself. And if you're looking for that, that's where you, again, the power of being around other women who are talking about your limitlessness, that's important. You got to put that out there. Stop watching the news talking about how everybody's killing each other and hating on each other, and start listening to podcasts like this all the time. Let this be one of your avenues to gaining the courage to do those scary things.
And find your squad. I know that for me, I have the most extraordinary group of women around me who do incredible things. And I'm literally in a state of awe when I hear about their accomplishments, their hobbies, their circle of women, where they've come from, where they're going to, the accolades they're receiving. It blows my mind. And I truly believe that part of my secret to success lies on the squad, because not only do I borrow and share, the energy. That's what we all do, is borrow and share all the time, right? Borrow, share. But they also speak about me in spaces I don't have to be in. And so doors open before I even know there's a door there, because that squad of really powerful women are ushering me into spaces I would not normally have access to. And that is what having a strong squad is really all about. And I could not agree with you more. I mean, it's so important. But there's also another side of this that I think is really important, that we've got to be willing to take the risks. Because we're involved in spaces together in the social realm, that I'll do this G-rated for all the reasons. My motto in life is be flippin' brave. Get out there and try it. Yes, you might fail. Yes, you might be humiliated, but be flippin' brave and try it again. And allow yourself to realize that you didn't get it the first time, or maybe you did, but you didn't get it the first time, maybe not even the second time, but you can do it a third time. And before you know it, you'll be doing things that are outside of your comfort zone so frequently that you actually realize that fear transitions into adrenaline, excitement, right? That fuels you. And so eventually that fear becomes your friend, and you're able to try new things, and you're able to tolerate that feeling. But before you know it, you're searching for the adrenaline rush. You're searching for the excitement and the stimulation, right? Yes. And I think that's probably something that, one, you've mastered, but two, it seems to me you're also transferring that and teaching that to women.
Yes, for sure. And because I agree with you. I mean, when you're trying to go for a goal, it's not linear. We think it should be linear for some reason. We're like, it should just go like this, and then I win, and then I finished across the finish line. I'm somehow done this great thing. I got this job, or whatever. No, that's not the way that life's going to go. And if it were, how boring would that be? And how unfulfilling would that be? You have to fail many times, because every time you fail, you learn way more than if you just easily accomplish that thing. You're going to learn, like, oh gosh, I tried to do this thing and I ended up, on the side of the road, dying, feeling like I was going to puke my brains out because I was pushing myself so hard. So then what do you take from that the next time? You go, okay, well then I'm going to try, fueling my body in this different way so that maybe I prevent that from happening. And you wouldn't have known that if you just had that linear progression. So I think that's important for women. I don't think we're brought up thinking it's okay to fail. Like men, if you think about it, traditionally men are the ones who they fail all the time because they're asking girls out all the time, and girls are like, no, not interested in you. So they're like, okay, whatever, next. Thank you, next. But women are like, oh, I have to succeed in every single thing, because that failure is somehow, a sign that you are not capable or not worthy in that way. Right. And so I think it's really important for us to actually seek failure, because it's going to help us get tougher and more resilient and find out these beautiful new paths to get to where we wanted to go that we would never have discovered if we just gotten right to the point.
That's it. And I remember working with someone one time and asking her to step into a space that was really scary and daunting and all of that, but also had a great reward if she could actually do it. And she failed. And she failed because of her own lack of prep. So she was very mad at herself, and she was very angry at herself and felt like, it wasn't just a failure, but she failed to do what she knew she needed to do. Like it was really a personal thing. And so that one failure led to her having to, one, look inwardly and figure out why didn't she? What was she afraid of at the potential success? But then there was another piece. She had to learn to forgive herself. And once she learned to forgive herself, she then had to get out there and try again. And the amazing thing is, during that whole experience I had with this woman, she became more forgiving to the people around her. Mm-hmm. And it was this unbelievable, again, like you said earlier, ripple effect, because she found forgiveness for herself. She found awareness for what was driving or not driving her. But then instead of judging others outwardly in the world, in her community, in her family, she then went into that awareness and then went into forgiveness. Like it was just this amazing, effect of the journey she went through allowed her to give more to the people around her. Right. And that's sort of the hidden gift that we don't think about.
Right. And I think the level of that too, is that people saw her fail and like, they were actually probably thought of her more as like a relatable human, a relatable inspiration, that they didn't have to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Look at this other person that we admire, and yet she didn't do it right the first time. She had to figure it out and start over. Yeah. Okay, well then maybe I can do that too. Yeah. So not only did she have that, kind of reckoning of her own awareness and how she could be, more effective with her thoughts for other people, but other people are just seeing that, and she's role modeling. Yeah, for that. 100. And I think, but I can relate too. It's funny because I think it was my 7th marathon. I was like, I'm going to break 4 hours. This is it. I'm going to break 4 hours. And I missed it literally by 8 seconds.
No,
8 seconds.
No.
And I was so pissed. I had a bad race. I'd literally like thrown up in the race because it was super hot and all this stuff. And so I was really pissed at the end of the race, but the next marathon, I was like, so much more fuel for the fire. Yeah. And I beat it by 10 minutes. Whoa. Not just like a minute. I was like, oh no, I am making this happen next time. You crushed it. Yeah, and every time after that, I was like, this is never going to happen again. I am going to, make sure that I'm learning from my past mistakes, because I don't really call them mistakes. I call them retakes. Yeah. Nice. We're just going to, so I learned from that. And then you, like you're saying, like you take personal responsibility for the things that you didn't do well, that didn't help you get your goal, but then you learn from that. And then you put that into the next iteration and the next iteration. Yeah. So forth.
Love it. I adore you. I could really do this forever. And by the way, when you get back down here to Arizona, could we please get together and do dinner or something, please? Can I just put my request in now? Yeah, because I really could do this for a really long time. But my production company is breathing down my neck, even though you can't see them right now. I know they are. So I'm going to keep this going. However, I do want to throw some questions at you that are speed round questions. It's kind of fun for me because I get to know you a little bit better outside of like, you're the badass woman who runs, this bitchin' company and all of that. Like I get to hear the humanity of you. So are you cool with me throwing questions at you?
I would love that.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. This one I love. Who's your favorite woman in history?
I knew you were going to ask this because I listen to your podcast all the time, and it's so hard for me to come up with an actual answer for that. So I'm going to say Harriet Tubman.
Oh, such a good one. Yes. Oh my gosh.
There's so many women who did things like that. Yeah. But I'm going to say her.
Love that answer. And no one has said it. And so, and I, because of the DE&I work I do, because I'm really interested in this space in creating equity and whatnot. I love that you gave that answer. Okay. What's your favorite place that you've ever been to in the world? And I know you've been to amazing places in the world.
I have been very fortunate. And I'm going to say Peru, and in specific, Machu Picchu. Which was, I'm not exaggerating when I say it changed my life perspective.
Wow.
Because if you know anything about Machu Picchu, there's all of you're at I don't even know, it's like 11,000 feet up or something like that.
Right.
And there's these huge boulders, like the size of my garage. They're ginormous. They were not put there by the heavens. People put them there. People figured out how to get these ginormous rocks up to the top of this mountain. Why? Because they knew they could, because they decided that they were going to do it. So for me, that was just like, holy crap, that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that so much. Okay. So I know you're a podcast listener, so don't say mine. I really want to know, because I'm always building my library. What's your favorite? And I, not that I am your favorite. That was really presumptuous.
You are
so
one of my favorites for sure.
Thank you. So what's your favorite podcast?
So I really enjoy Brene Brown.
Yes.
Because she speaks so much about women's empowerment. Mm-hmm. So I would say if I'm going down that avenue, that's one that I will always go to and listen.
Okay. Do you have a favorite book by any chance?
You know, I'm going to say this book that I have a book club that I do for Live Your Truth Women. And we read this book called Cassandra Speaks. Okay. And it's basically saying if history were to be told by a woman, had to be written by a woman, how different would the world be today? It's very interesting. It's by Elizabeth Lesser. It's very good. I would suggest it for anyone who just wants to kind of reframe why we think the way that we do as women, because that's the history.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely writing that down when this is done. That is so great. So what's a quirky or wacky fact about you that we don't know about you already, or that maybe not a lot of people know?
Well, I don't know if it's quirky, but I would say, so I just had double ankle surgery. Both of my ankles done within the last year. And the reason I had them done is because I did 40 marathons by age 40, literally doing my 40th marathon on my 40th birthday.
Wow.
Which is great. But, you know, I actually didn't listen to my body very well. And I trained my clients to when you're injured, you should stop. Oh, you shouldn't be popping Advil every day. So I would say that, you know, I think the quirky fact is that we look at something as like, ooh, wow. But when you really dig a little deeper, there's a lot more in that understory that you can actually glean from.
I cannot imagine. Oh my gosh. Yikes. I have bad knees from being the first one picked at soccer every year. So no, I was a competitive soccer player my whole life, and a runner and a softball player. So but it was the soccer that did it. And so I remember not only did I get really banged up during soccer, but also because, you know, years later becoming a skier, I was like, oh, like I am so athletic and all of that. I have blown out both of my knees so many times. And now here I am going, oh, this is what they warned me of. All these surgeries that I said I'm not going to have. Oh, this is what I'm dealing with. So I'm a hobbler. Yeah.
Well, it's that whole no pain, no gain that we used to buy into.
Yeah.
No, when you have pain, you should actually stop.
Yeah.
And figure out how to rehab that and get stronger in other ways and then come back.
Yeah. I remember talking to my doctor at the time and telling him I was getting ready to go skiing. And he was like, well, whatever you do, wear your braces, on both knees, because they really are cartilage and ligament damage on both knees. Well, what 20-something do you know who's going to go on the slopes and put two big, at the time, clunky knee braces on? So I didn't. Guess who that day went down and totally blew him out? I have not skied since because I refused to do what he told me I should do. So listen to your body. Now I'm 50 and I'm like, oh my God, it's cold outside, isn't it? Because I can't get up.
Exactly. I can't bend. I can't straighten my knee.
It's totally when your body starts to betray you is when you start getting into this space when you didn't listen to all that stuff earlier, that you're like, I look awesome and I'm great. Like I know I look younger than I am, but I can tell it's cold outside by my body's creaks and cramps and aches and it's the worst. So
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
On the same page.
Yeah. So tell me what your superpower would be if you could have anyone in the world, even if you make it up on the spot right now.
I would say that my superpower would be to, what's the word for it? When you clairvoyant, I guess, or is that the right word? When you can basically help other people think differently, you can so instead of me just telling you and showing you and trying to coach you in that way, I can actually implant in your brain that what you can believe, self-belief, self-respect, self-trust, intuition. And I could implant that into people's brains because I have that. I don't know if clairvoyance is the right word.
It's not clairvoyance. It's mind
not.
control.
It's
you want mind control.
And I was trying to think of, there's a nicer word for it though, Jen.
No, clairvoyance when you hear it or sense it, or clear audio is when you hear it.
But I'll think of the word when we're on to another question.
Yeah,
there was a
of
word
course
that
you
I was
will.
thinking of.
Of course. And I'll probably get a message tonight. It was this. But I'm just going to tell you, that to me sounds like some kind of Marvel superhero mind control, something weird. Yeah. But no, I think that's a good
But
one,
only for good.
Used for good. Absolutely. So what's your most treasured item in the world to you?
I would say it's not a thing. It would be my 2 Yorkies. I don't have children.
Yes.
And so they are my fur babies for real. And I actually, when I went through my divorce, I chose to leave them with my ex for a while. And I thought I was doing the best thing for them. And I think for a while I was, just within the last year, they've come back to me. It's a long story for another day that we'll get into for another day. But it was definitely like that whole analogy, the whole word of, if you love something, set it free. And if it's meant to be yours, it will come back. And that's them.
Oh, I love that so much. Yay. The babies are home. I love it. So when you are Brene Brown level successful, I already think you're close, but when you're ready for that arena full of people and they call your name and you're strutting on stage, what's your theme song going to be?
Ooh, so there's a song by Andra Day called Rise Up.
My all-time favorite. Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
All-time favorite song. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like even just saying it, I get goosebumps because it's just, if your listeners haven't heard it, please listen to this song. Again, Rise Up by Andra Day. Yep. Amazing.
Yep. Absolutely. And this gives you a glimpse into who I am. My 2 favorite songs in the whole world. One is Andra Day's song. The other one is, oh my gosh, now I can't think of his name. John Lennon, Imagine.
Oh.
So like, I'm all about like bringing people together and all I love it all so much.
Yeah.
That's a little glimpse into my heart and who I really am. So what's one thing that you really want to accomplish, like in this work, before you're done? Like what's the ultimate goal? And I love asking this because potentially someone's out there listening and they're going to be like, I got you. Like, so tell me what it would be for you to hit that level.
Well, I'm just going to say I'm never going to be done, ever. Never done. Okay. But one of the things that I really want to do, and you are doing it already, girlfriend. This is someone I look up to you. I admire you. I don't feel like, scared that I can't do it or somehow jealous. What I look at you is when you're doing these motivational speaking and the keynotes, I want to do that like on Oprah level. Yeah. Like her series that she did where she traveled around. That's what I want to do. Yeah. Because I watch those and I get super inspired and I know it can make a huge difference in people's lives. Mm-hmm. So that's on the kind of more global scale. Mm-hmm. And then I want to keep doing what I'm doing, which is on the one-on-one with my clients where I get to like literally see the long-term impact of when you help fill another person's cup. Yeah. It runneth over and I get to like be the person to feel like I helped with that. That's just, there's no better gift on earth than that.
I love it so much. You and I need to talk because here I'm saying I'm here. I can help you get into speaking. So know that the answer is yes, and the door is open, and I will absolutely help you with that. I've got a lot of other people I'm helping with exactly that. And as a friend, this is part of the perks of friendship. So please, let's talk so that I can help get you moving. At least we'll get you moving, and I know all the things you need. I've been doing it a long time. So there's very little that's better than being in front of an audience. I will tell you very few things that are better than that. So I'll totally help you. Yeah.
Yay. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So one last question I have for you. What's the best word to describe you?
What's popping into my brain right now is tenacious. Cool. I am positively tenacious because that word can sometimes be negative, but positive energy tenacious. Nice. So that form of it.
Nice. Actually, I lied. There's one more. Finish this sentence. When I'm really, really old, I hope to see
a female president, but I hope that I'm not really, really old. I hope that I'm just a little older than now, but that's what I wish.
Absolutely. Yes, sister. Yes. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. So tell people where they can find you. You're just such a star.
Oh, thank you. Well, the easiest way is I'm pretty much Live Your Truth Women on everything. So that's my website, liveyourtruthwomen.com. I'm on Instagram as that, Facebook. I have my Achieve Multisport coaching as well, but we can link that in the notes later.
Okay.
And then I'm also on Clubhouse. I think Clubhouse, I'm under my own name, Shannon Paterson.
Okay.
But Live Your Truth Women pretty much gets you to me.
Awesome. Love it. And we'll have all that in the show notes so that people can find you easily. We'll link it up so that it's just one click and we can get you to, get into Shannon's universe. So before we go, I just want to quickly give a big thank you to our sponsor for the show, Lillian Sue with In Retrospect Writing and PR Services. Lillian is a longtime PR coach and publicist who's focused on empowering creative entrepreneurs to reach their fullest potential and become global industry leaders. Through her strategic and personalized coaching programs and in-depth PR course and campaign services, she's able to help people, creative entrepreneurs, build strong and healthy PR mindsets and gain the confidence to launch these successful PR campaigns. She believes that education is the key to empowerment, and helping creative entrepreneurs achieve worldwide recognition and brand awareness is what she is all about. So if you're interested in getting in touch with Lillian at In Retrospect Writing Services, you can find her at inretrospectwritingservices.com. And with that, Shannon, you are amazing. I adore you. You are so much fun. I know I went way over my time, and I already told you that the production team's going to hate me for this, but I just enjoy you too much. You are just
thank you.
Too much of a joy. I love your energy. I'm riding the wave and banging the drums. So everybody reach out to Shannon. You know where to find me. We will be back in a week with another episode, and I am so grateful for you being here and all of you tuning in. So have a good one, and we'll talk soon.